Drones are novelties of the 21st century, another manifestation of man's earnest desire to fly like the birds. If aircraft gives us wings, drones provide the eyes. Nothing under the sun is hidden, whether it's an extraordinary rescue, an intriguing phenomenon, or a puzzling sighting. In a minute, I would have your jaws fall open, because here are the most incredible things captured by drones that no one would have seen otherwise. Cornfield clown. On October 26th, a man went to Huntsville with his drone, intent on taking some footage of the cornfields. The footage begins with a peaceful image of a vast expanse of land covered in an overgrown cornfield. But as the drone approached the center of the field, things got creepy. Standing right in the middle of the field is a bizarre person, poking right back at the drone. Our guy initially believed it was a scarecrow, but because scarecrows can't move on their own, he had doubts. It turned out to be a man dressed in an orange t-shirt and disguised as a clown. The clown, feeling threatened, turned and bolted for the dense forest and was not found afterwards. So what do you think he was up to? Please share your thoughts in the comments box below. Alienoid creature. A hunter ran into something intriguing hidden in the undergrowth while walking through the woods. Pause the video and take a closer look. Do you see the sinister figure? A cryptid creature with broad ears and dazzling eyes emerges from the woods just as the camera moves up from the tightly packed woodland. This terrifying footage was captured in a distant woodland in 2022, with the beast itself looking terrified. But what exactly was it? Is it an undiscovered animal species, an alien, or a supernatural being? We would love to see your replies in the comments section below. Desert ghost. In August 2016, a drone captured footage in a Portuguese desert, and it is one of the most eerie videos you will ever see. A gigantic humanoid creature with a hunched back is seen walking in the middle of a deserted desert before disappearing behind the bushes after being discovered. Whether it is a malformed animal or an extraterrestrial, we cannot tell. Some believe it's a sand zombie, while others believe it's an alien. Let us know what you think about it. Headless animal. The next video would make your eyes pop out. In the video, an animal, most likely a moose, popped into the frame out of nowhere and stomped about. Not weird, you would say, until you realize the animal has no head. Is that even a possibility? There is more. Check out this headless camel who keeps walking around and posing for the camera in the most unnatural way conceivable. While many associate it with some sort of supernatural phenomenon, it is merely due to the fact that these two walk with their heads facing the opposite direction. See how this camel returns with a fully developed neck and head? I warned you. Bear chasing a man. This video shows a drone flying between the snowy pines into a track when it discovers an average-sized brown bear chasing a man. Taken in January 2022, the camera followed the chase, but as it got closer, the bear noticed the drone and paused for a moment before resuming its pursuit. However, the internet had doubts the video was real, and it was eventually revealed to be a hoax. The bear turns out to be a fully trained teddy named Tom. It was out for a jog with its trainer in the cold countryside when the footage was captured. 6-year-old rescued. In September 2022, a little boy got lost in the woods with little hope of finding his way out before dark when the forest got scarier. Thankfully, the police came up with the brilliant idea of using a thermal camera fixed to a drone to find him. After a thorough search, the drone discovered an object deep in the woods. It guided police, ambulance, and fire crews to the boy, who was determined to be in great health. Giant humanoid figure. A Canadian named Andrew Dawson caught a film of what looks to be an enormous humanoid standing atop a mountain and walking at the peak with no support. The bizarre event was captured in Alberta when a couple of men on their regular journey observed a weird figure on the big mountain. Although the figure looks to be dark, some suspected it belonged to a clan of giants native to the mountain. But is it truly the case? Spooky girl of Cannock Chase. A couple of guys decided to test their new drone in the woods after receiving it. None expected what they would discover. They ended up in the Cannock Chase, where they decided to take their first shot over a field. Looking at their photograph, they found a female clad in white with hollow black eyes standing on the edge of the field after giving it a first shot across the fields. The guys rushed back in no time, frightened to dare move their drone. The spooky girl has been known to roam the Canuck hunt for decades, but no one knows what it actually wants or how it got here. Before we go any further, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to continue watching our fantastic videos. Bigfoot sighting. A man called Josh was out hunting roughly 9 miles west of Tunica, Mississippi, when he sighted an unusual creature. This was no ordinary beast, with gorilla shoulders and a head upright and a bear's paws. The footage shows this enormous beast seeking for food in front of a massive hollow tree trunk. The strange animal, according to Josh, could be a skunk ape, often known as the Florida Bigfoot. But since he was able to capture images of its face, it's still unknown what he saw in those woods. Moose versus wolf. Besides being exceptional swimmers, moose can also walk quite steady on water due to their height and strength. This ability comes in useful when they are surrounded by a predator that cannot swim. Take a look at this drone footage, which gives evidence of that fact. A moose stands ankle-deep in water beside a lake in Ontario, Canada. But before it can get any further, a wolf charges out of the bushes and approaches the moose. Although the moose initially protects itself by kicking away, the wolf manages to clasp onto the moose's leg with its formidable jaws. After a minute of frantically circling the lake, the moose shrugs off the wolf, who reluctantly admitted defeat. Baby deer rescue. Meet Hans, a tech farmer from Switzerland who uses a thermal drone to rescue a juvenile deer that is resting in the comfort of long grass. Actually, every year in early summer, a female deer gives birth to fawns, which she shields from predators by nesting in tall grasses of meadows. Unfortunately, this is the time of year when farmers must mow the meadows for hay, and in all that grass, it is impossible for a mower operator to notice the small newborn deers hidden in the grass. In a heartfelt show of concern for wildlife, Hans devised this ingenious approach to get the small deers to safety after spotting them using drones. Pterosaurs. Is that a bird? A plane? That question might have to go unanswered. With a vast wingspan that flaps and a broad, snouted beak, many assumed it was a pterodactyl, a winged reptile known as pterosaur. But the pterosaur lived 160 million years ago, along with the dinosaurs. How could it then be observed over Boise, Idaho, US? Skeptics, however, have dismissed the possibility. Some think it's an RC plane, a toy, or most likely a drone. What do you think it is? Swimming camels. Little can describe the sight of thousands of migrating Karai camels swimming from Kutch district to the mangroves in India. The footage shows the camels swimming for up to 3 kilometers in shallow waters. While the clips are captivating, the story behind them is far from fun. It turns out that this rare camel breed is at risk of extinction due to salt companies blocking their tidal flows and gradually drying up the mangroves. It not only takes longer for camels to reach their grazing land, but the poor species is threatened by low food storage. No tree forest. A haunting drone footage from 2018 depicts a land filled with thousands of headless trees. But what is the source of this devastation? Let's find out. A little digging reveals the video is from Catchullas Lake in Washington, which was subjected to extreme drought in the summer of 2014, resulting in it drying up and revealing old tree stumps. The trees were felled a century ago for reasons unknown, with their stumps preserved since they were mostly submerged at the time. Mysterious crop circle. Crop circles have long been associated with aliens and UFOs. A 2020 drone footage reveals a bizarre crop circle in the center of a field in northern France, and it has ignited both fear and curiosity in viewers. A farmer filmed the circle while driving his tractor in July 2020 when he thought someone was ruining his crops. Although many witnesses believe that this is how aliens mark their territories at night, in reality, this unusual design is formed by flattening a big part of the crop known as Templar cross to provide a touch of beauty throughout the fields. Hanging coffins. This intriguing drone footage from China depicts a slew of wooden coffins dangling from a cliff. While this appears to be both terrifying and fascinating, legend has it that Igorots felt a person should leave the world in the same manner in which he entered it. As a result, the Chinese used to hang coffins because they believed that the higher the coffins were placed, the greater the probability of their spirits attaining a higher nature in the hereafter. The The tradition also formed out of the ancient Chinese wanting to bury their ancestors in a more secure location. There are currently 131 coffins measuring up to 3.2 feet in length, hanging on a cliff dating back 1,200 years. The Loch Ness Monster. The Loch Ness Monster was reportedly filmed by government officials in November 2016. The video shows a lengthy, ice-coated object gently sinking through the Chena River in Fairbanks, Alaska. The internet is intrigued, with claims ranging from a sturgeon shark to a river monster or an ice ghost. Experts believe that it could be trash on top of the water, which looks to have snow and ice on top. They theorize that the debris was grabbed by a submerged strainer, and the current was responsible for it moving like a fish. Amazon wildfire rescue. The catastrophic Amazon wildfire of 2019 is terrible to imagine, and worse when actual footage is seen. When the brutal flames raged through the forest, rescue personnel worked non-stop using dash cams, trail cam, and drones to rescue injured animals. The video depicts a horrible scene, with trees and bushes burning to ashes and people running to save the animals. The fire was so devastating that it not only left the forest in ruins, but also took with it a great deal of valuable fauna, trees, and birds. And while the source of the fire is uncertain, several farmers believe that clearing land for pasture is what started the fire. Mount Rushmore. A drone clip of Mount Rushmore featuring a strange sighting as it hovers over the mountain. Located north of Custer State Park, Mount Rushmore has the giant faces of 4 U.S. presidents: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham chiseled into it. It took 14 years to create the sculptures, but it is worth it. According to the owner, in order to attract tourists, he chose 4 of these presidents to represent the most significant events in U.S. history. Giant baby. Similar to Mount Rushmore, the Son of the Earth is man-made and awe-inspiring, a massive sculpture of a sleeping infant in the midst of nowhere. The incredible drone footage shows a 3D sculptured baby sleeping in all its splendor while pillowing on the soil of Guangzhou Gobi Desert in China. The infant is 49.2 feet long and 29.5 feet tall, and was created by artist Dong Shu Bing using 3D technology on red sandstones. It has now become a new cultural landmark for the Silk Road. Toxic cloud dip. In November 2021, just as hundreds of Hindu worshippers were about to bathe in the Yamuna to commemorate the Chhath Puja, clouds of foam appeared to be floating on one of India's holiest rivers. While it appeared to be miraculous and entertaining, the white foam was actually tainted with illegal dumping of industrial waste and untreated sewage water. But with no other means to honor the sun god for delivering life on the earth, these folks took their chances with dips among the foamy clouds. Look at how these women are swimming and bathing in Yamuna's frothy water, feeding trapped stray dogs. After a volcano erupted in the hilly neighborhood of Todoki on the Spanish island of La Palma, several stray dogs were discovered stranded in an ash-covered yard cut off by molten lava. It was impossible to walk on burning lava or fly helicopters around the area, which was loaded with hot gas, so drones came to their aid delivering food parcels. The footage shows the dogs walking towards their food with their heads raised, taking a much-needed bite of nutrients to help them survive long enough to be rescued. Beached whale. In September 2021, while photographing the tranquil sea, a man came across the enormous carcass of a marine creature washed ashore on an Icelandic beach. The beast, which measured up to 59 feet in length and weighed 20 tons, turned out to be a blue whale. While such a sighting seems rare, studies show that blue whales frequently beach due to illness, injuries, harsh weather, or old age. Although marine biologists have collected DNA samples, the cause of its demise remains unknown. Molten lava roads. The beauty of nature is evident in this aerial video of Iceland's Fagranósfell eruption on Reykjanes Peninsula in September 2021. The airborne shots show a brilliant lava flowing and bubbling as it continued erupting with the fiery brilliance of Hawaiian explosions, wild and energetic. Although it is perilous and life-threatening, people are drawn to the sight of these magnificent lakes of molten lava. The volcano's last eruption occurred about 800 years ago, and locals believe it will continue to flow until it reaches the sea. Will that happen? Cat stuck on a pole. During a feline rescue operation, a sheriff used his drone to locate a Wyoming cat named Grim, which was hanging out on a power pole, minding its own thing and loving the view. In contrast to Grim's nonchalance, his owners were quite concerned, so the rescuers decided to summon the kitty off the pole in the most high-tech way conceivable, with no fear of heights. Grim sat there staring down at his family, holding a sheet for protection, but as the drone approached, the cat decided to make its trip down the pole on its own, arriving safely on the ground. Frozen animals. In January 2022, Turkey suffered a major loss of livestock as a result of a dramatic temperature drop of -41 degrees Celsius. A drone footage shows a rather disturbing assortment of animals such as donkeys, goats, bunnies, and even foxes in a village. While some of them were cartoonishly frozen in place, others had turned albino as a result of the intense cold and snow. Rescue officials deserve praise for their diligent work in saving some of the animals and burying others. Horse rescue. Following days of heavy downpour in Chester Meadows, a river burst its banks and stranded 4 horses in the middle of a field. The helpless horses were drowning in the flooded water until a paddleboarder came to their rescue. In a heroic scene captured by a drone, after the residents asked for his help, Jeff the paddleboarder spent 40 minutes attempting to open the gate for the stranded horses. He had to break the chain, secure the gate with bolt cutters, and pierce it open, allowing the terrified animals to go. The horses, which had been submerged for 7 hours, dashed towards dry land and instantly began munching on the grass. Ancient tribes. One of the major uses of drones is in the exploration of areas we are yet to or could not go to. A good example is the exploration of the Amazon rainforest by one of Brazil's agencies. They were shocked by what they found. While exploring the Amazon rainforest with drones, the agency spotted isolated tribes living in the wild with little understanding of the outside world. These tribes had never been encountered by humans of the 21st century and were filmed going through the jungle with bows and arrows to protect themselves from wildlife. The discovery was made in 2018 with drone footage highlighting 16 of these people, but authorities estimate that there are over 100 similar groups living in Brazil's rainforest.